Hi guys, it's been a while since I posted a video, but I've been pretty busy with school and work and everything. And I got a new project that I'm undertaking. I kind of already started it before I thought, hey, I should probably make a video of this. And then I went and looked on YouTube and I couldn't find anything for this specific make and model. As most of you already know, I have a 2008 Chrysler Sebring, and currently my cruise control switch, while it works, it's kind of broken. Um, it well, this is the switch, and as you can see here, right down there at the bottom, I'll put my pinky on it. Right here by my pinky, there's a tab broken off, and then right here, there's a tab broken off that well, they hold the switch in place. This top piece is just, I'll show you in a second, but there's just a little like peg that this sits on and holds it in place. And then there's a screw down here and a screw over here that hold it in place. So that basically that peg was the only thing keeping this thing in my dash. It was wobbling all around and it was all kind of crooked. And it just, I mean, like I said, the switch worked. You know, the cruise on and off worked, the accelerate and the decelerate and set and resume all worked, but it was just broken and floppy in there. So this is where I'm at right now. I got the steering wheel apart, and I already put the new switch in, actually. See, we got the, nice working switch. I got the part from Rock Auto. This is the part here. Let's see if there's a part number on here. Here we go. All right. Like I said, I have an 08 Chrysler Sebring, and this is the part number from Rock Auto, CCA1168. Well, the biggest problem I was having, I didn't know how to get the steering wheel apart, so I'm going to show you how to do it. Basically, you need a 10mm socket, and I suggest one that is longer, because you got to get kind of far in there, longer or skinny. Like this is a 3/8 inch drive, so like a 1/4 inch drive, 10mm would probably work as good. But the well, sorry, you need the 10mm and then a T25 Torx bit. And as you can see here, we have those two screws, which are the ones that I already took out and put back in. And then you have this, I don't know, connector for the switch, so that, whenever you tell it to do something, the car knows you're doing it. And then you have these three bolts right here to take out. And I do recommend taking them out. Take one out a little bit and then the next and the next. Now, something that happened on mine is that this is part of the steering wheel, or for the, sorry, it's not the steering wheel. Of course, it's part of the steering wheel. It's part of the horn. So these bolts all go in here into holes in the dash, and whenever you press on this black thing here, it beeps the horn. But I would say to do them a little bit at a time. Do one and then do the next, because they just come out better that way. So let's just go ahead and start putting them back in here. Now, that sound that you hear, there's a spring behind each of these that, actually this bottom one, whenever, I don't know if we can see in there or not, there's the spring, and there is a piece of metal right there, and the metal threads up onto the bolt. And whenever I took out this bottom one, the spring and the metal piece fell off down here into my steering wheel. So it was just sitting there. I was like, oh, well, that wasn't supposed to happen. But I just put the spring back on and pushed the metal piece back onto the bolt, and it was fine. But like I said, I would definitely suggest doing them, one at a time until it's tight. Sorry, I know my hand's getting in the way here. one's tight. Somebody's honking at someone. Alright, that one's tight. And that one's tight. Okay, this one wasn't tight. There we go. All right, now it's tight. There's actually quite a bit of force on these. All right, that one's tight now. All right, so they're all tightened up. And then I'm gonna pause this for a second, but to put this piece on, but there's these two tabs right here on the side of the airbag. This is your airbag module that goes in the center of the the steering wheel. And right here on the side, you can see there's a little slot, and it's got a tapered edge so that those clips will slide right along that tapered edge and go into the dash. But you basically just take it down and you slide it in, and then as you can see right here, there's some holes in the sides of this, and if you look right in here, there's a couple of nuts that are secured inside of the plastic piece, and you got these two 10 mil bolts, and focus on this here, these two 10 mil bolts, and basically they go in through this hole right here that you can see. Oops, dropped one. Through this hole that you can see in the side of the steering wheel is what you put your socket through, and you tighten them back down so that it holds the airbag module back into the steering wheel. So like I said, I'm gonna pause this for a second. I'm gonna slide that in and show you what it looks like. Pause. Okay, so I slid the cover back on, and then this is the tricky part. Let's see if I can rotate the steering wheel. Okay, well, as with anything, you should disconnect the battery when you're messing with anything to do with the airbag. Disconnect the battery so that you can't accidentally deploy the airbag. I actually chose not to do that because it is wintertime. It is like 35 degrees outside right now, and my battery is in the front left wheel well. You have to take the tire off, take the inner plastic rain flap mud guard stuff off to access the battery. So I chose not to do that. I know it wasn't the safest thing to do, but here we are. And yeah, so you just take these 10 mil bolts and you put them in those holes you can see right there, and it'll go, if I can get this in here, in like that. I'm actually gonna pause it to get it started. Okay, so I got the bolt in the socket, and I'm just gonna stab it in there real quick. All right, got it started. Thread that in there. I do not recommend not taking or not disconnecting the battery. Like I said, I didn't want to be cold, and I didn't want to do all that extra stuff. I was just very careful with the airbag module. I tried not to jar it too much, and I was very easy with it. Let's see if we can do the same thing over here. All right, so I had to honk the horn a couple times since I just didn't disconnect the battery because it wasn't fully seated on this side over here. So I had to smack it real good to get it to go in. Now I got both bolts in. Both bolts are hand tight, and so I'll just finish tightening them up, and that's basically it. Like I said, I do recommend disconnecting the battery. I did it the stupid way. I don't recommend you do it my way, but I just didn't want to be cold. I was just very careful with the module, and didn't do anything stupid with it, play with it, try to adjust the connectors or disconnect the connectors or anything like that, because I imagine, if you try to disconnect the connectors with the batteries connected, that it can possibly set it off. Sorry, I'm trying to get the ratchet on here, but doing this one-handed is not working out very well. So yeah, I got the module in, and it wasn't super tight whenever I took it out, so I'm not going to tighten up the bolts super tight either, just because, well, I don't really think it's necessary. I mean, yeah, see, just honked the horn again. Wasn't even trying to, I was just tightening up the bolt. But yeah, that's it. If you need to replace the cruise control switch, yours did something like what mine did. It snapped off in two places and was just dangling inside my steering wheel. And so now we got the nice new one. Everything all works. And next time I get out on the road, probably on my way to work tomorrow, I will test it, and I'm sure it'll be fine. I plugged everything in. I mean, it's just one connector, two screws in the cruise control module itself, 3 screws in the horn mechanism, which clearly the horn is working because I've just beeped it a bunch of times on accident. So I obviously got that reinstalled correctly. And then 2 10mm bolts on the outside edge to release the airbag module from the steering wheel. So that's it. That's all I got. If you have any questions or comments other than you're stupid for not disconnecting the battery and the airbag, then feel free to leave them. If you like this content, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks.